Welcome back to Clappin Bombs. My name's AWOL. Next to me got Eric and Robbie at the end down there. We're getting closer to the hockey season. We're about a month out from the first night, and I think we're about 2 or 3 weeks away from preseason. So we're getting pretty close to, getting some action in, and hopefully we'll make it. It's getting pretty boring out here. So past couple weeks we've had some signings. Most notably, we'll start with Tage Thompson getting a huge extension with Buffalo. When I say huge, I mean monetarily. $50 million for 7 years. So we know he had a really good season last year. But if we also remember, they did the same thing with Jeff Skinner. And Jeff Skinner is now a liability. So what are your guys' thoughts on Tage Thompson?
I don't know if Skinner's a liability, but $9 million for Skinner, yeah, that's a problem. $7.1 million a year AAV. I mean, if he does it again like he did last season, then it's great.
Absolute steal if it's the case.
If he doesn't,
that means Buffalo's locked into 2 players for the next 7 years on really, really bad contracts.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think it's real risky, but you could say it's big, also in physical, because he's 6 foot 100, I think. Literally the tallest player in the league, 100. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
don't quote me on that.
He's 6'7".
Yeah. So I mean, anyone that is that big and can play, even one time 40 goals, that automatically makes him worth that much, in my opinion.
I agree.
What you can do, not pay him. I mean,
I agree. Well, see, so it's weird because it's an extension, so he's still on his current contract for next year. I feel like they should have maybe let that season play out.
Potentially, but at the same time, that could just have driven up the price even more.
I
So
guess.
it is a little risky, but I think Buffalo's in a scenario where
they can do it. Yeah, probably.
they just have
Also,
to
I
do
mean,
it,
if you look at it this way, I mean, if Buffalo ever decides to blow it up again, $7 million isn't a horrible contract to trade.
No, especially not
Especially
nowadays.
if he continues to play as he might be their new Jack Eichel, because that's obviously gone. They don't really have that person stepping up for them at this moment. They might coming up, with a younger kid, but on their current roster, he's their focal point, I believe. That's what it seems like to me. They're giving him all this money. They want him to be the number one. So if for some reason, they decide to, to blow it up and, they don't see him in their future, $7 million for a top 6 forward isn't really the worst. I mean,
well, it just concerns me because he's 25 getting this contract, 25 years old, and he just had his first breakout season. I don't know that there's red flags there.
Yeah, but you could also say this was his first breakout season because he was on Buffalo for 4 years.
Yeah, but he also played on St. Louis. That's not. I don't know.
I'm fine with it.
I hope that he does it again. I mean, he had a great season. Let's hope he does it again.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
if he doesn't,
I like Buffalo being good because I like all the teams being good. I'd rather watch a real hockey game than
of course.
Arizona throwing.
Yeah.
So of course I'd want Buffalo to be good. So I hope he repeats.
Also on the topic of Buffalo, we're getting the old Buffalo jersey backs, the black and red. So excited to see what they do with those. Those are going to be sweet. Next up, Sam Steele. He signed with Minnesota. One year, one-way deal, $8.25. I mean,
What a disappointment, really.
Yeah,
he
was
so good
better.
in juniors, and he has not lived up to that at all.
Good signing for Minnesota, though. I mean, low risk, high reward. They need players that are on league min because they don't have any cap
they're
space.
$14 million in dead cap space
So
for the next.
Hopefully
2 or 3
he'll
years.
make some of that dead cap space look, hopefully they get a steal there, so it alleviates some of that dead cap space. But I don't think so.
But and also, I mean, they're replacing Nick Bjugstad with Sam Steele.
Yeah,
I
I
mean
mean,
that's
can you
not
really go
really that
wrong
much
with
of a
that?
drop off. Next up, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Great name. I have to assume he gets some starts because Eric Comrie and Craig Anderson is a terrible goaltending combo for Buffalo. So I'd assume that it's about time for him to start getting some games.
He's been all right.
Again,
Yeah, he's been okay.
basically league men for him on a 2-way. So he'll probably start the season in the AHL, and they'll bring him up probably halfway through after they realize Craig is not the answer.
Well, I feel like Craig's the backup, but Comrie is.
Eric
Comrie
Comrie's the starter. Excuse me, you were on a 2A,
No.
2B. You were on a
Thanks.
2A, 2B goalie situation.
Let's say
Next-
he got 5 games behind Hellebuck last year.
over for 5,
Yeah.
4 goals average. So probably one of the best signings in the offseason, at least to me. Jake Ottinger signed in Dallas a 3-year extension for $4 million a year. I mean, if Ottinger, being 23, continues to play or is he 20? Yeah, he's 23. If he plays like he did last year for the next 3 seasons, he might be the most expensive paid goalie, and after his contract's up now.
Well, that's not true because Bob.
We said
I'm
after. Yeah.
But I'm saying he might be one of those ones that he's going to get one of those massive contracts.
After Bob and Carey Price had their $10 million contracts that neither of them have lived up to because Price's injuries and Bob being himself.
Bob's.
No goalie is ever getting that much again. Ever.
Yeah, okay,
There's no
but-
shot.
What about Vasilevsky?
The big reason is because he's
he
not a
got it.
veteran. Like, they have to give that money to Jamie Benn.
Yeah.
He's horseshit.
I mean, I don't know. Ottinger had a really good postseason, but again, it's one of those things. Like, this is the opposite of the Thompson signing, where like he had one good performance. More than good. It was fantastic, and now they're only giving him a bridge deal. Like, they're like, you need to prove more.
He's still
So-
only 23, and goalies are always, I mean,
That's fair.
They're hit or miss. There's not like the middle of the road goalies they're not good, right? It's you're either good or you're not, and that's as simple as that. And I think that's a solid deal for him. If he proves himself in the next 3 years, awesome. He'll get a better contract. If not, they move on and they'll figure it out from there. But I have no problem with that deal.
I think the more interesting point this brings up is what's Robertson going to get?
That's a very good point.
Because, like, this just shows to me that they're not willing to pay their young kids, where, like, a lot of the other teams in the league have the mindset that they're going to do that. So,
Well, yeah. I mean, their owner just straight up came
Yeah.
out and was like, "Yeah, we're not paying
So
the
I
kids what
think
they're worth,"
it brings
which is a
up
bit
a
ridiculous.
pretty interesting point where, like, can Robertson get offer sheeted here? Is something like that a possibility?
I mean, you got to think so. They
Like-
only have $6 million in cap space,
if that happens-
Robertson's the opposite of Thomas. I mean, this kid's nuts.
yeah, he's done nothing but
Over a point
impress.
per game. Yeah.
And it's like, if something like an offer sheet happens, like, how badly does that mess up Dallas's game plan going forward?
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, if you offer sheet him $8 million, I mean, he's gonna take that. Dallas isn't gonna be able to offer him $8 million.
I mean, he had 7 games in the playoffs. He put up 4 points. I mean, for his second season, that's not the worst.
yeah, but that series was also a defensive showdown. There was
Sure.
only like 10 goals total. Because Ottinger had like a 96% save percentage.
All I know is that looking at now on cap friendly, based on what Dallas has coming up next season, and with the amount of people they have to re-sign, it is not looking good for them. Almost every single one of their players are up for it. There's 4 people that are still on
Well,
contract.
the 9.5 and 9.8 to Ben and Sagan are probably the reason.
Yeah, those are. How long has Ben signed
3
for?
more years at 9.5.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sagan. I meant Sagan.
Way too long.
5
5
years.
It's crazy that Joe
almost 10 million.
Pavelski is the best contract on this team.
Yeah, who would have thought that? Also, I don't understand. Like, I don't mind the Mason Marchment signing, but why would they sign him when they got to give
Yeah.
money to Robertson? Like, who cares about Marchment?
For $4.5 million.
Like, where are they going to find the money to pay?
And then Mikko Heiskanen making $8.5 million.
Yeah, I mean, at least he's worth that. But like, Robertson's worth the 8.5.
Look,
Where
they're
are
paying.
they going to get it?
They're paying Ryan Suter $3.65 million.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
like broken ass
yeah,
old Minnesota Ryan Suter.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
I don't really understand what Dallas is doing, but the Ottinger signing's great. I mean, if they think that Robertson's going to
No, I
take
mean,
a
they
big deal
gotta-
like that, they're insane.
They got a good. The Stars got a good deal out of it.
Because like
I mean, they locked up a number 1 goaltender for the next
3
3 years.
I look at Robertson the same way I look at Krill. If Krill got as much money as he did, Robertson's going to get at least that. Because, I mean, they've both been absolutely outperforming what they were expected. So, next up, Sam Gagner signed with the Jets for League Men. I mean, Robbie, you're a Jets fan.
Yeah,
You're bringing in some
it's
veteran
fine.
presence. I mean,
Yeah,
How is
he's
he
been,
only 32?
I thought he was.
Yeah, that's
thought
what
he
I was
70.
thinking too. The dude could still play. He's real fast. I like his skill set. And we lost Stasny, so it's just a good kind of replacement. It makes me wonder why we just didn't, re-sign Stasny, but maybe there's other things going on.
I mean, Sam Gagner did have that one game like 8 years ago. where
8
he put up
points?
8
Yeah.
points. He literally
Yeah,
beat
maybe
a
he'll do
Gretzky
that. If
record
he does
on
that
one
again,
game.
I'll buy a jersey tomorrow. But
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. League men contracts are league men contracts. Same with Ryan Murray on Edmonton. Draft pedigree, he was a second overall pick in 2012, the worst draft of all time, I think. But
Vancouver put the JT Miller trade rumors to sleep, signing him to a 7-year, $8 million a year contract. I think it took them a little long to sign him to that. I think he's been good for a while, but I'm happy he finally got the money he deserves.
it's a pretty reasonable contract. Like,
I think the term's a little long because he is 30 years old, but at the same time, I mean, he kind of reminds me of like a Bergeron, right? He's gonna play until he's, he can't.
Well, he's way better than Bergeron in
But
my opinion
I understand.
too.
Yeah, but I just mean like in terms of like age, right?
I mean-
He's just
I
gonna
mean,
keep
3
playing and
straight
playing.
seasons where last year with the whole COVID stuff, it gets weird. But I mean, basically 3 straight seasons, point per game pace or higher.
30 goals.
Yeah, I mean,
And he's not even playing, top line. Like, he's not getting number one
He's not-
minutes. I mean,
yeah, he's
Bo,
on second line.
he's like, he's not taking Bo's spot. So those are really impressive numbers for his position.
Yeah, I really
He's
like
been
his
the
signing.
only bright spot on Vancouver recently.
yeah.
So, I mean,
I
he's
mean,
definitely worth the
Patter-
money. I think it commits them to, like, a winning mode.
I think
They're
it's
in a winning mentality for
I
sure.
think it's very interesting that they're playing him at center and Pedersen at wing. I didn't.
We just got to
expect
try
that.
it, because
Well, Pedersen has been invisible.
trying to get him going.
They got to do something.
Well, they did.
And,
towards
and
the
Miller's a
end.
good center, too, so it's not really at the end of the world.
Oh my God, he had 18 points in the playoffs.
He
that
was
year?
good.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, he kind of came out of nowhere. Like, he was a solid middle six guy in New York.
Putting up
with, like,
40, 60 points. I mean,
yeah,
60
50,
points is
50,
not
60
bad.
points. No, but it's not $8 million worth. But then
God,
he just
no.
exploded
He came to
when he
Vancouver,
got to Vancouver.
72, 46, and 99. I mean, he almost had 100 points last season. That's awesome.
So, yeah, I never understood the trade rumors.
I
I
don't-
never understood why they even it suggested that they should trade him.
But then
Like,
again, rumors are always rumors, right? That can be just somebody talking out of their ass trying to make a headline
Yeah,
to get clicks.
I mean, every time I saw him play on Vancouver, I was like, they should be locking this guy up long term.
for sure. Yeah.
And they did, which is good. Vancouver has a solid chance to make the playoffs and make a splash this year. So hopefully,
With the West being
they
as
can do
bad
it.
as it is, I see them being serious contenders. Evgeny Svechnikov signed in San Jose for league man 2-way contract. I mean, that's just a whatever deal for them. It doesn't really help San Jose, and as we've talked about San Jose previously. It's just we don't know what they're doing. They're really not making moves to make their team better. They're only getting older. I don't know what's going on there.
And Svechnikov's really not impressed recently. Like, he's 25 now, and like he hasn't lived up near to his brother, that's for sure. But like, also he's only maybe had like 10 goals last year. Like, at this point, you just kind of hit that point where I don't believe he's really got what it takes to be an everyday NHL player.
Mm-hmm.
Just bouncing in and out of the lineups and stuff.
Pretty much the same as like Daniel Sprong, who also
Yeah.
doesn't have a contract. They score goals sometimes, and that's
Yeah.
about all they do.
They play fourth line minutes, and they might get you one or two.
They get 10 to 20 goals a season, and 20 is high.
No-
10 to 15 is more like where they're at, which is like fine. I mean, bring them in as a warm
I
body.
mean, for league men, who cares?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
basically.
like I said, it's a whatever signing.
It's just clear, like he's like officially like he's a bust now. Like,
Yeah.
for a
there-
first round.
Yeah. There was a signing today, it looks like.
Eric Brandstrom
Eric
from
Brandstrom.
the Senators.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I mean,
1 year, 900 million
million?
or thousand.
$900 million.
Brandstrom should be better than he is right now, but he is a defenseman and he still is young. I refuse to call any player under the age of 25 a bust, so
He'll do fine on Ottawa.
yeah, he'll be better, especially this year. They get a couple more things, and again, if the Chikrin rumors go through and he's playing with Chikrin, that's going to be a huge help too.
Absolutely. So to kind of switch things up a little bit, last couple episodes we went through all kind of a off-season review. So what we're gonna look at today actually is we're gonna do kind of a favorites and a sleepers for all the awards. The way too early sleepers and favorites for the awards, but gotta figure it out somehow. So if we want to start off at the top, we'll start with the Rocket Richard Trophy. So favorites, and so this is hard, right? Because we were talking about it earlier, right? I mean, obviously we have the best goal scorer ever in Alexander Ovechkin in the league. Could see him winning it again, but as I mentioned, last time, him not having Backstrom, I think is it's not a huge loss, but it definitely hurts a little bit. I know they haven't played together in a while, but I still think it's a little bit different for him. So Eric's going to hit me in the face when I say it. I think Austin Matthews repeats. Listen to me. Listen to the reasoning. The only way Toronto wins games is if he goes out of his mind and plays like if he plays like he did last year. With the amount of garbage they have on their defense and their goalie situation, I think Austin Matthews is just going to put the team on his back and carry them. Not to the cup or to the playoffs, but I think he's going to have a really good season again. My sleeper pick for the Richard is actually Patrick Laine. I think adding
Interesting.
adding Gaudreau to the lineup and having Ken Johnson come into play, I think that line is going to produce like nobody's business. So I think Laine might sneak in there and steal it out from everybody.
What do you think?
That's an interesting. He wasn't really on my radar. If I had to do a clear, who I actually think is going to win it, I'd also probably go Matthews just because, just seeing what he did last year, everyone predicted him to get, I remember all the analysts on, the TSN analysts were predicting to give him, 65 goals and stuff. I thought they were crazy. He almost hit those predictions. So he proved me wrong once, and I'm not going to get proven wrong twice. But as my sleeper pick, I'll probably go Draisaitl because he impressed the hell out of me last year on that power play, and I think it's only going to get better this year, especially if they can pull in someone like Patrick Kane.
What were Draisaitl's numbers last year? I feel
50 goals.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a hell of a season.
Yeah.
No, those are good. I like that. I mean, again, I know Eric's laughing because we said Matthews. He hates the Leaf with everything in his body, and like I said, there's a very clear that Alexander Ovechkin is the best goal scorer in the league. I'm not taking that away from him. I just think that Matthews has something to prove. Again, because last year he had it to prove, but it didn't go away because his team just got worse. So he has to pick it up, and I think he will.
All right. Well, I mean, mine's obvious. Alexander Ovechkin is winning the Rocket Richard. I won't bet against him.
How did he do last year?
Second place.
Oh, you know what? That's not first.
I think that
in the words of the wise,
he
Ricky
has-
Bobby, if you
he
ain't first,
has
you're last.
9 of them. Let's see him get the 10th, and I won't bet against Alex Ovechkin. He's
Could this
the
be
best
the
goal
year
scorer
that
of all
Ovi
time.
starts slipping?
That's what they've been saying.
Yeah, he
for
starts.
10 years.
He
Could
starts.
this be
This is getting this close to the Gretzky record. He's gonna start slipping.
Yeah, Ovi's winning the Richard.
Incoming 25 goal season.
If you want my sleeper,
Could you
pick-
imagine?
Washed. He's washed.
Imagine. If you want my sleeper pick, I'm going a little quite far off the board here.
Oh, it's Eric in
But-
fantasy picking.
You're gonna like this. A full season playing with Sidney Crosby and Rickard Rakell. I think Gensel has a chance. I think Gensel could hit 50 plus.
That's it.
I could see it because he's gotten 40 before, right?
40
Yeah,
last year. and
Rust
40 a
has
couple
too
years
playing
before.
with them, and I think Raquel really brings something special to that line. Just watching him
I
and
do, too.
Crosby feed off each other, it is interesting, and to hear that come out of your mouth is
That is
I
a
think-
shock.
I think
mean,
that-
Yeah, that
had
was a shock,
goosebumps.
yeah.
I'm like, wow.
I think that Jay Gensel's the best player on the Penguins. Like,
yeah. I think that the NHL's top wingers. I think he was rated 15th, and I actually think that's a little under. I'm glad to see him there, but I still think it's a little underrated for Gensel.
I agree,
It's if you
100%.
watch him during playoff, Gensel is just on another level of what he can do playing with Crosby.
Yeah, I mean, I that's a very good point of having Raquel. I mean, obviously, when Crosby plays, they typically put him with a scrub, and then he has Gensel. All right, I think that the Pens have finally cemented Raquel being on the top line with the re-sign. So I'm really excited to see what that line does, and that's actually a really good point I didn't think of. So
yeah, I could easily see Gensel hitting 50 plus, and I mean, if nobody hits the 60 mark like Matthews or Ovi, then he has a chance. So
Yeah.
my outside pick is Jake Gensel, just because he's gonna actually play. I mean, he put up 40 playing with Simone and Crosby. Imagine what he can do with an actual winger.
yeah, no, that's
Yeah, well, Raquel is a significant upgrade over Rust, and especially
Yeah.
because the
and,
Penguins'
and
injuries.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, and because of the Penguins' injuries, there's always he's never even had 80 games with Rust or whatever, because and this provides just a little extra depth to help him get there.
Raquel's also just much more of a playmaker than
Yeah.
someone like Rust. Rust finishes off of playmakers like Crosby and Malkin. So I mean, having another playmaker passing to Jake Gensel, he could easily surpass 50.
Yep. So next one, kind of on the same. You want to do Jack Adams next?
Yeah.
So Jack Adams, Coach of the Year.
I hate this trophy.
It's so dumb, right? I mean,
Because Jack Cooper,
John Cooper and
John.
Mike Sullivan have never won that trophy.
yeah,
that's who my favorite was John Cooper, just because the Lightning have just been insane, and I don't think they're going to get worse. And my sleeper is Sullivan. I don't think it's a sleeper pick because I just think Sullivan's one of the top
Yeah.
3 coaches in the league.
But it's not going to happen because this trophy and the roles around it are dumb. They're going to give it to I don't know what underperforming team that last year
Whatever
is
Boston's
the
new
Ottawa
coach.
Senators or
Yeah.
the Bruins or something are going to get it, and it's stupid
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter.
The trophy's dumb.
I mean, it's just how you want to qualify it. Because if you want to say it's the best coach, it's probably the best team in the league as well. But if you want to say it's like the coach that got the most out of their players, that might be slightly different.
Yeah, but it's also never any of those. It's
Yeah,
like
you're right. It's like
sometimes
Barry Trotz because he took the worst team in the league to like a 10th place
it's
finish.
sometimes the team that gets the most out of the players, but it rarely. I
Yeah.
mean, Sullivan should have won it like 3 times if that was the case, but no, they do. They give it to like the team that missed the playoffs last year that miraculously make it because they play boring trap hockey. Like that's who they are going to give it to. It's a dumb trophy. If you're going on who should win it, Cooper should have a ton.
Yeah, I
and
would
Sullivan
I
should
would
have a ton.
personally say it's the coach that's like pushed hockey the furthest, and I mean like innovation and all that. So like it's definitely just Cooper. I don't think there's anyone
He should be
remotely in the conversation other than Cooper.
the trophy's dumb. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's just who cares. It's a dumb trophy that doesn't really make a difference. But I would like to see Cooper or Sullivan win it for once. I think they're both really top coaches in the league. It's hard to argue that. So maybe we'll see them win it this year, but probably not. So next we have the Selke Trophy. I mean, it's pretty much the same people in the conversation every year. It's either Bergeron or Kopitar. That's kind of who I picked as my favorites and sleepers. I really
Is
don't.
this Mark Stone's year?
Mark
No.
Stone is going on LTIR again to free up some cap space. So I said Bergeron or Kopitar. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, maybe one out of the blue, Ryan O'Reilly, but
I mean, you can't go wrong with any of those. They are slipping, though. I mean, Bergeron thought about retiring. Kopitar's
Sure.
getting older. I mean, yeah, my favorite is Barkov. He's on the best team of all of them. His defensive numbers are already fantastic. His offense is going to be better than Kopitar and Bergeron for sure.
playing with the truck. Yeah.
I'm giving my favorite to Barkov, and I'm giving my sleeper. You guys aren't going to like this one, but I have a reason.
Okay.
If you say Kuznetsov, I'll punch you in the mouth.
God no.
Tom Wilson.
Sean Couturier.
I thought you were gonna say Corrali.
I know.
I was
did
like,
too.
all right, I'm in for
I was
it.
like, all right,
Sean
pick.
Sean Couturier.
Change my pick.
Sean Couturier has already been nominated for it a couple times in his career.
On the Flyers.
I know that they're the obviously
who are
the
the
worst
Flyers
team.
shutting down?
I agree, but also when you
I
think
feel like you have
about
to
it,
win a game in order to win the trophy.
maybe I don't know. I mean, how many times?
I think you
did-
have to have a positive plus minus to be able to
Yeah.
win this.
Oh, I think that he might be the only player on the Flyers to actually be able to do that.
I mean,
He also has Tortorella as a coach.
Tortorella can suck a dick. I
He's-
hate that man.
He's gonna have Sean Couturier blocking 150 shots a night. Like
I
he's
mean-
just gonna be stepping in front of everything.
I don't think it's really I don't think it's really like a horrible pick. I don't think the Flyers are going to win anything this year.
Me either, but I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean they have to win games. It just has to mean that he's been the best defensive forward in the league, and I think that he could. I mean, it's not,
Yeah, I mean that's a fine pick. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
but I think it's Barkov's trophy to run away with anyway. So
sure.
You know, I don't really have a strong opinion on this because I think it's kind of a BS award. Like, if a forward, excels in the defensive aspects of the game, then like, are they really even doing their job? I just really don't agree with the trophy as a whole. But, I'll give it to Crosby this year. He's been knocking on it a while. He wants it for some reason. I can see him getting it.
I don't think Crosby's an out of the question pick either. I think Crosby is probably one of the best defensive centers in the league. I mean, he's definitely up there. Just some of the plays he makes are out of this world. But I mean, yeah.
I mean, you could just see
it's
his
not
defensive
unreasonable.
impact against the Rangers in the playoffs. As soon as he went out, the team kind of fell apart. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with the Crosby pick. Do you have a sleeper pick for the Selke? Even though who gives a shit?
I'll go Bo.
Horvat,
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, yeah, he's not bad.
I mean, I don't personally think he's anywhere near the top in that list, but it's going off the board.
Sure.
Maybe he has a good year this
Not
year.
Captain Boone.
Oh God, no. He's the best captain though. Is there a trophy for that?
No.
Okay. Well, he would win it.
So next up, the Art Ross. If I think we're all on the same page here,
McDavid.
Connor McDavid.
McDavid.
There's no question he's gonna win it.
It's
And
either him or
here-
McCarr.
here's-
There's no other.
I don't think McCarr is not gonna have the most points in the
No,
league.
it's the most points. It's not.
Oh, I thought that was MVP. Okay.
No. So most points in the league. Obviously, it's gonna be McDavid, and here's the biggest reason why. McDavid has done it forever. This year, he gets a full season of Evander Kane, who is a pure goal scorer. So I think McDavid breaks 100 I think
mean,
he
they-
hits
they-
at least
they could
120
just have,
points this
like,
season.
The best power play of all time this season.
I agree.
Like, it could just happen.
Yeah,
There's nothing stopping them.
I think he wins it with over 120 points this season. I think McDavid has.
That's a
out-
safe bet.
I'm just saying he's gonna
my
have an
sleep-
insane year.
My sleeper pick is Draisaitl because
Yeah,
he
I
plays
mean,
with McDavid.
what
Like,
do you
that's
even-
just
Yeah. I
Th-
mean,
there's
those
no
two-
arguing
Those
with
two are
that.
just ridiculous. So the Norris Trophy. So my two picks for this one. My favorite is going to be Makar. Main reason I feel like he's going to have to carry the Avs to do anything, and he's just a proven, really, really good defenseman. So I think Makar's going to win it. My sleeper pick though is Seider from the Red Wings. He had a really solid season last year. I think he does even better this year. So I see those two battling it out for the Norris this year.
I also have Seider as my sleeper. I'm really high on Seider. I think he's fantastic. I think he might still be a couple years away from it. My favorite is the best defenseman in the league, Victor Hedman.
I thought you were going to say John Carlson.
There's an outside chance. I mean, it
After
depends on
last
how many,
season, there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how many points he puts up. I mean, he's got an actual goaltender behind him now, so
Yeah.
maybe he. I mean, should he win the best defenseman award? No, but they don't have one for the best offensive defenseman and the best defensive defenseman, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Their criteria changes every year. Sometimes they give it to the guy who scores the most points, and sometimes they don't. It changes. I don't know how they pick. They gave Giordano one like 4 years ago, and what did he do?
This
to
is a
deserve it?
trophy I really believe should be split into two. Like
Yeah,
if we have
sure.
if we have a best offensive forward, we should definitely have a best offensive defenseman because like that actually makes sense. There's a lot of that, you know.
The
once-
Capitals
yeah.
defenseman would have 4 additional trophies in their trophy case if that was the case.
I mean, yeah. So clearly the best. My clear number one pick for that is going to be Victor Hedman. He's probably one of my like top 3 favorite players in the league. The guy's just a monster to watch.
Oh yeah, he does everything.
Yeah, he's just an incredible player. And my sleeper would probably be. Eric's gonna punch me for saying this, but it's probably gonna be Yossi.
Yeah.
And the reasoning behind that is because they added McDonough, and I think that's just gonna let him, roam so much more efficiently. Even if they don't play together, like just giving McDonough the harder matchups and letting Yossi do his thing. I think he's just gonna have a great year.
I can see that, but I don't agree with it. I don't.
Well, you have a vendetta against Roman Yossi, so it's okay. So next up, the Vezina. So Shesterkin's not repeating, just so we're all on the same page here.
That was a miracle season.
Yeah, so my favorite is Vasilevsky. I feel like it's almost impossible to bet against him. With that being said, my sleeper is Jari because Jari had an insane season last year. He was in the running for it, right? He was top 3.
So I've watched Jari a lot, and I think it's really easy to come from that and say he's a Vezina caliber goalie because we watch him all the time. But also watching Hellebuck all day, he's not. He's a really good goalie, but he's not top 3 in the league.
We'll see. I mean, that's always a
Like,
sleeper.
He's definitely a really good goalie, but watching like the difference between him and Hellebuck is just there's like an entire tier there because
Well, here's the
Jari's never shut down an entire team by himself.
well, that's because he doesn't have to.
I get that, but like that's the difference between him
But
and
Hellebuck
someone
hasn't
like
won it
Hellebuck.
either, though.
Yeah, he did
When?
like 2 years ago.
It wasn't last year. But no, I mean,
But I mean, that's the distinction between him and like a Vasilevsky.
Sure.
And like, I mean, obviously, I'm taking the bias pick and saying Hellebuck's just gonna dominate everyone, but
I mean,
Jari's a pretty good sleeper too. I think he has it in him.
I do too.
I have 2 sleepers.
This guy.
One's more of a hope and a dream than the other,
Did you say
but Grubauer?
Oh
come on
God! The only thing
Uh,
Grubauer's winning is worst goalie in the league, and I don't even think
Well,
Vegas has a
no.
goalie.
Did I mean? Did I mean?
they got Marty Jones now on
Oh,
Seattle.
yeah,
Remember?
my point
Did I mean?
stands.
I meant to say Kemper.
Yeah, Kemper is one of my sleepers. It's more of a hope than anything that could happen, but he could. I mean, the thing is there's so I'm sitting here thinking about it now, just trying to think of my favorite. There's so many good goalies now, and like elite goalies too. Like picking between Vasilevsky and Hellebuck is a coin flip.
Yeah, it's I mean, they're both so individually skilled that it depends really on whose team is doing better on the given day.
And then
Unfortunately, Tampa has the better team.
and then sleepers. I mean, you've got guys like Gibson. You've got guys like
Gibson
Kemper.
was probably one of my other sleepers.
My actual real sleeper that I think could win it is Thatcher Demko. I think Demko could.
You know,
could
he's
really
been
break
knocking
out.
on the door. He's pretty similar situation to Jari.
I think so.
Yeah.
They're very similar goalies. Yeah.
There's just so many good goals. I mean, Ottinger is a sleeper. Like there,
Spencer Knight question mark?
At the
He's
same
not
time,
getting
though, I
infinite
think
games.
goalies in
I
general
guess he's still split down, Bob.
are just on a downswing. Like I really don't. Other than like Shesterkin, who we all agree was a miracle, I don't think I've seen a goalie completely dominate in a while. Because
no, it
like
was
the
Carey Price
offense
in,
has
like,
just been
2012.
the offense has just been so high recently. Yeah, like you said, like since Hank was in the league.
Yeah, I mean,
So I don't really think there's a clear number one favorite. It's really going to be like the offense is just too good.
because like Shesterkin's not going to get another 95% save percentage season, but he could still win the Vezina with a 93. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's so many good to great goalies in the league now. Like, you don't have like 8 years ago you're looking at like Craig Anderson in Ottawa as a starter. Like, he was okay, but he wasn't great. Now you've got like all these 25 to 28-year-old kids that are legitimately great goalies. You could pick any one of them and they could win. All they need is a season behind a good team.
Yeah.
Hell, Bob could win it again. I mean, he already has two.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he can't.
Good thing it's a regular season trophy.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's there's so many good goalies that it's hard to pick for that.
I'm excited. I mean, it'll be a good race for all the goalies because, like I said, there's so many good ones.
My point is, I just don't think there's going to be a goalie that comes in and like, just you can't score on him.
What about Georgiev?
Shut the hell up.
Georgia wins a Vezina.
I'll get his face tattooed on my ass.
Oh, AWOL said it before I did.
We'll both do it at the same time. I'll tattoo it on Robbie's ass. So the Calder, I'll be honest with you guys. I really don't know the rookies coming into this season. I know Shane Wright and Ken Johnson, and like that's about it. I think Shane Wright's a bitch. But
Wow.
I don't know. I don't really know the Calder. I'll just to be honest with you guys. So
Give us some multiple choice, Eric. Who do you
yeah,
think?
give us
All right.
some options
Give us
because you
people
Eric,
who are going to be playing. I
Eric-
mean, I've got Slavkovsky on my mind. I've got Wright on my mind. I've got Cooley on my mind. Those are the only three I could think of.
Okay, I'm going older. McTavish.
Okay, he's probably mine. Yeah,
Um,
I mean, now that you said he was a rookie, he's probably my favorite.
Mason McTavish. Jack Quinn.
Powers, right?
Owen Power.
Yeah.
I think that those three are going to be in the main race for it. I think that my favorite is going to be Mason McTavish, just because
any
of the way
consideration
he
on those
plays.
Minnesota kids like
Boldy and maybe I think that they're a tier below McTavish and Quinn.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just think
Power.
I think it's gonna be McTavish's trophy to lose. If I'm being real,
I agree. I think
and
that
Power's probably my sleeper.
I think that the only way Jack Quinn wins it is if he puts up 30 plus, which he could. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that as of right now. I mean, this is hard to say because we haven't seen most of them play in the NHL yet, other than a couple.
That's
games
why
here
it's
and
free
there.
predictions.
But if you were to ask me right now, I think that it's McTavish.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like a 30-year-old playing hockey.
Yeah. I mean, he's killing it. He does everything well because he's big, he's strong, he's fast, he has good hands.
He grinds like Sidney Crosby. I mean,
Yeah, he just has everything. It's going to be hard not to pick him.
Yeah, sure. What they said.
Wright probably is going to start the season on Seattle, and I have a feeling he's going back to juniors.
even if he did start and play the whole year, just because he's on Seattle, I can't see him outproducing McTavish.
Yeah, I agree.
Like he could be twice as skilled, but just because he has to pass to Jared McCann, there's just no way.
Yeah. Another outside pick is another one on Seattle. They got Beniers. I mean, he's playing a full season. I don't think that he's going to win it, though. Again, it's hard for somebody on Seattle to...
What about your boy Brad?
He isn't playing.
Brad's not playing.
There's no shot. He got scratched in the World Juniors. There's no way.
Oh,
He might get a couple games, but I don't even see that. He
Rip.
gets preseason max.
Rip Brad.
I don't think Kemmel is going to do it, even if he plays a full season. I think it's down to McTavish, Quinn, and Power. They're all the older kids coming in for their first year. That's who I have right now.
So, probably the last one. I mean,
We can do this.
okay. So, the Hart Trophy, MVP, again. McDavid, right? If he puts up 120 points and, continues to carry Edmonton as he has for the past 5 years, I think it's his trophy to lose, kind of like with the Calder, and you guys were saying McTavish. So yeah, I mean sleeper. It's so hard to say anymore. I mean, because there's just so many good players that just are propelling their team forward. I'll go with the bias pick and say Sidney Crosby, because I always will. But I think McDavid wins this easy this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I also don't like this trophy because they call it the most valuable to his team, but then they go and give it to a guy that also had a teammate that put up just the same amount of points. Like if they're calling this trophy the most valuable to their team, how do you pick between Draisaitl and McDavid?
When they both put up 100 plus.
How do you pick between Matthews and Marner? How do you pick between Crosby and Malkin?
Like Stamkos and Kucherov were disqualified from it a few years ago.
Between Crosby and Malkin's easy, but that's besides the
I mean,
point.
maybe now, but not when they were actually in the running for the trophy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how do you pick? It's like
it needs to be more defined as to what they're saying is most valuable. What is the actual?
Yeah.
Why
Like-
are you picking that person to be that most valuable?
like
What did they
five
do
to,
differently?
5 to 10 years ago, I never understood how they could just not give it to Ovi because he was obviously the most valuable to his team. That they would give it to like guys like Kane or Crosby when they had Taves and Malkin doing the same amount of points. Like, what is this trophy? Is this trophy the best player in the league, or is this trophy most valuable to their team? Because those are different things.
Yeah.
Best player in the league, McDavid just runs away with it for the next 15 years. I mean, but that's not what it is. I mean, they gave it to Matthews last year, which maybe, but I don't agree with that. I mean, 60 goals is obviously great, but I mean, Stamkos didn't win it for 60 goals in 2012, and that was a harder
Didn't
achievement
Carey
in my
Price
opinion.
win it in 2012?
I don't remember who won it. I think Crosby might have won it in 2012.
I thought Price won in 2012. It doesn't matter. It's a very confusing trophy. Robbie, who do you have? I mean, obviously McDavid.
So I mean, obviously, my obvious pick is McDavid. I think there's a few other choices, and it depends really on position, right? Like if you're going to forward, it's clearly going to be McDavid. If you're going to defenseman, it's probably going to be Makar or Hedman. And if you're going to goalie, it's probably going to be Vasilevsky, Hellebuck, Shesterkin, whoever's going to basically
The
win
Vezina winner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it really just depends. What's the difference? How high, how much of an outlier they are. If Shesterkin is a 9.5, he's my favorite. If Makar has 100 points, he's my favorite. It really just depends on how much above he is compared to the other people at that position. If McDavid gets 135 points, but then Draisaitl gets 132, I'm probably taking with Makar with 90 points.
No, that's a reasonable thing to say. Again, it's
Well, here's the thing with it too, though, is it's so hard for a goalie or a defenseman to win that trophy. Shesterkin lost the Hart Trophy last year.
Yeah, with the 9.5.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
if he
exactly
can't,
what I'm saying. He should have won that.
if
probably.
he can't win the Hart Trophy with those stats, goalies are never going to win one again.
Yeah.
Matthews had 60 goals. Yeah, that's impressive. But a 9.6 when there's guys scoring 60 goals, that's more impressive.
Yeah.
That's just inherently better.
well, what's that season compared to when Carey Price was?
They were almost identical.
And that's bullshit. To
Yeah,
me. He didn't
Shesterkin
win it.
should have won the Hart last year, but he didn't. So I don't
They're
see
just-
how a goalie or a defenseman could ever win it again.
Yeah,
It's just whoever. Honestly, it's whoever the media gives it to.
That's exactly what it is. Because is it the writers that pick it?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's
And,
your point. 'Cause,
and
I mean,
they
it's-
decided Matthews all last season. As soon as Matthews hit 45 goals, they were
Yeah.
like, Matthews is going to win the Hart, and then he did.
the Hart's not the Hart's decided halfway through the season. It's not decided at the end, which is
But
bullshit to me.
if it's the most valuable to their team, honestly, Kirill Kaprizov or Shesterkin should just be winning it all the time. That's that. If they're going by the actual definition of the trophy, how can you vote against either of them?
Yeah, and
Kirill
I
Kaprizov's
just-
the only guy scoring more than 80
and
points on the Wild.
I don't think just because Krill put up 80 points, you should win the trophy. So I just don't agree with that definition.
So, but they need to change it then because I don't understand what the trophy.
But then again, they gave it to Taylor Hall 3 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I don't know
when
when
he
that
played
was.
New Jersey, yeah.
Yeah, it
on
just-
New Jersey, and I mean he. But then again, I would probably agree that he probably deserved it that year. So
I don't know. We're not the writers. We don't get to pick. So the President's Trophy, best record in the league. I think it's hard to go against Florida in this one. I think Florida's probably just the most over. I mean, obviously it's Tampa, but I think the Panthers win it this year.
I don't think Tampa wins President's Trophy. They haven't the last 3 years. They don't
That's
care.
why.
They just don't care about the regular season.
That's why
they
I
just
said the
kinda-
Panthers.
They just kind of lay low and hang out. I also don't think the Panthers. I'm going the Oilers.
That was gonna be my pick. I thought
Yeah.
it was gonna be a sleeper pick because
No.
I've just been jerking out the Oilers all his last couple episodes.
Well, I mean,
but-
I think the Oilers are a good sleeper pick. I just think that Florida is just. But then again, I don't know. I mean, because like we spoke about with the review, I think that Edmonton kind of filled a lot of holes that they had and a lot of gaps. So it's very possible that they win the President's Trophy. I think it's gonna be a race between Edmonton and Florida. I mean, I don't know. That's my look at it.
One of the Metro teams could sneak in too. I mean,
The Metro is so damn tough, and they have to with the amount. But then
yeah,
again,
but they lowered the amount of games that
I
they're
was about
playing
to
against
say
each other.
with that being said, the Pens and Caps only play each other twice this year, which is absolutely
3 times, but
I thought it was twice.
it was 3.
I mean, that's still what would just be like 6? A
Yeah,
lot
it's
more
no more than that.
But like still, 3 games is it's dumb. And then the way too early Stanley Cup winner prediction.
Give me a matchup. What
Give
do
me
you
a
got?
matchup.
Yep.
Okay. Well, just to have some fun, I'm not gonna say Tampa Bay. So.
Give
That
me
makes it impossible
Okay.
to pick a team from the East.
here's my
Just for
Stanley
fun.
Cup
Just
finals.
for fun. Because otherwise, we're all gonna have the same one.
Edmonton, Carolina. Give me
Okay.
that final. That's a fun finals.
2006 rematch.
Go ahead, Eric. Give me a second.
Edmonton.
If you say Washington, I swear to God.
I still think that they're better than Carolina, and you just picked Carolina. But if you want me to not pick Washington,
Pick whoever you want. It's your fucking pick. I just think it's wrong. And it's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, I'll be boring. Edmonton, Tampa.
Ew. Boo. Let's
Yeah,
have some fun.
I'm
Edmonton,
really trying to
Tampa.
not go with Edmonton, but I don't think I can. Like,
There's
what's
not
my
a-
next best option? Like
Vancouver.
like-
Georgiev.
Yeah, Vancouver or the Jets, and I just don't believe in either of those. So
The Jets just signed Sam Gagner.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the Jets are realistically my second pick there because like
I agree.
Hellebuck. I mean, if there's anyone to do it, Hellebuck will just walk him there. But
I would take Vancouver. Over
I mean,
Edmonton,
okay, I'll just to not say that Edmonton for the
Winnipeg.
third time, I'll go the Blues
That's a good one.
and yeah, the Panthers.
that'd be a very
No, that would be they would all be injured at
Yeah,
the end of the
those are
series.
that's like the 2 biggest teams in the league, more or less.
They would all be hurt.
So and we're talking about the Blues and completely off topic, but is Bennington still their starter?
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Didn't they just
I
sign?
mean, he's
didn't they
already
just
won the
sign?
one.
Did they re-sign Huso?
No, they traded him.
Detroit.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
They
Yeah.
got Bryce.
That's their backup.
Yes.
Price isn't a bad backup, but like it's not Huso.
Yeah, so I mean that's an interesting one. I'm just at this
You
point.
can really replace Florida with anyone in the East.
Yeah, I mean like
The East is very interchangeable because every single
Yeah.
one of the teams that's gonna make the playoffs they're super competitive.
I really only got Edmonton in Florida or Edmonton and St. Louis in the West.
Yeah.
Maybe the Jets. If Hellebuck has a good year.
Well, I don't know. I take Vancouver because I think Vancouver Thatcher Demko can carry them pretty far. But again, I think Edmonton's.
yeah, I'm just gonna be boring and go. I mean, it's too early to tell, so I'm just gonna go with the 2 teams that I think are the best teams, and it's Edmonton and Tampa.
Yeah.
What
That's
about what about Calgary? You think they can make it?
No.
Okay.
I think Huberdeau's gonna maybe put up 60 points.
Okay. I think he might do a little bit better than that.
61.
61. You're right.
I see 80. There's no
80.
way he's breaking
80
100.
points on
You
Calgary?
think
Yeah,
Huberdeau is
who's he
able to
playing
score a point every single
I
game?
mean, he is playing with good players.
Who?
Lindholm had 40 goals last year. Toffoli is good.
He plays late at night. I don't know that.
He could put up 80, but there's no way he breaks 100.
No, there's no shot.
I'll go out on record right now. There's no shot.
I don't think he hit 70.
I'm on board with that. I don't think he hits 70.
I mean, he can get close.
I think he's going to significantly decline in Calgary.
Oh yeah, but I mean, significantly declining is going
He's
down
ass.
to 80. I mean, 30. That's 30 points that he loses right there.
They shipped him. They took him from the Sunshine State and put him in the snow. They sent him. They exiled him. Okay, so that wraps up this episode, guys.
How many's Line hitting?
How many goals?
Yeah.
Well, who's my sleeper pick for goal for the Rocket? 69.
Your sleeper pick is scoring. How many goals do you think Matthews is going to have? 400?
72.
That's insane.
Obviously, I'm joking, but Laine shaved his head, looking a little sus.
He did shave his head. You think that makes him like more
Aerodynamic.
dynamic? Yeah.
No, dude, he's on crazy boy mode right now. He's gonna score 69 goals.
I see Laine getting 45.
You mean
I'm
60?
going 47. Very specific.
Honestly, realistically,
Very specific.
I think Laine hits probably 45, 40. Yeah, between right around what you guys said. About
How many
45.
points Makar have?
Well, here's the problem. The Avs got so much worse.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but
real-
he's still so goddamn
Realistically, I'm gonna say 95.
95.
good.
That's really
He's
high.
like, the
I
Avs
feel like
got
that's really
worse.
high.
95. Holy shit.
But we just said Makar is absolutely insane at
He
hockey.
is, yeah.
So I think 95 is not out of the realm of possibilities. No matter how bad they
I
are.
see 90.
McDavid, how many points did McDavid put up when the Edmonton was fucking
Yeah.
terrible for the past
Yeah.
10 years? I mean, it doesn't.
I'll go 85. I'll go lowest.
How many points does McDavid have? 140?
150.
150 points,
You heard it.
almost 2 points
Yep.
per game. Are you out of your?
You watch him in the playoffs?
Did you watch him last year? Last year he hit 2 points per game.
You know what? Fuck it, 243. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll be back. I don't know when we're gonna be back again because we're kind of running out of shit to talk about. But hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we see some news.
Training camps are starting soon. So.
Yeah, we got preseason coming up in a couple of weeks, so we'll keep putting out content where we can, and we'll catch you guys later.